Please welcome the one and only Gary Mr. Hoops Darby. Thank you for joining us tonight, Mr. Hoops. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and you use my real name so much. People don't know me by Gary Darby because if you go to the gym and you ask, "Hey, where's Gary Darby? I want to meet him," they will look at you like a dog that hears a high pitched sound, and they won't know who you're talking about. But when you say Mister Hoops, they'll go, "Oh yeah, he's right over there."
So, you've been around the game, you've been around the game 5 decades. But, tell everybody about growing up in Charlestown, Indiana. You were born in 1951. Basketball looked a lot different back then. When did you first fall in love with the game?
Well, from the very beginning, I always tell people that when I first started driving, gas was 26 cents a gallon. I wanted them to kind of have some reference. But just from the very beginning, you didn't have social media, you didn't have games, Xbox and PlayStation, and you only had three channels on the TV. You had to get a whole bunch of people to play baseball, football, but with basketball, you could get a ball and you could go play. And so that became the thing for many, many, many people to do. And of course, I'm not unique. Everybody's did that in the state of Kentucky and Indiana. Of course, this is the mecca around here. Indiana and Kentucky, that's the mecca of basketball.
You talk about playing basketball during the summers. What made basketball so special back then? Was it because like anybody could play if they had a basketball? Was there a player or coach back then that kind of inspired you to like fall in love with the game, but also like take it to the next level like you do?
Well, just watching on TV, the NBA games were not even live; they were tape delayed. But of course, you would listen to Kaywood Ledford on radio. You would be inspired. You would take and listen to the U of L games, Unseld and Jerry King and Butch Beard, and you would take. And I'm one of those rare people that do love both teams. Okay, that is possible if you love the game of basketball. So, but yes, not having the video games, you could just take a ball and you could go play and you could entertain yourself. And so, as far as now, of course, later on, as you get into high school, you've got your favorite players and things of this sort. And course, I used to always take, and of course, I know he's going to take and hear this and say, "Oh my God!" But Mr. Basketball, State of Indiana, 1971, Mike Flynn. I always took and in high school, I always took and thought that I was taking and going up like Mike Flynn and taking a shot. You know, Joe Hall, I believe, is Adolph Rupp coached him, and Joe Hall come and recruited him down there at Jeffersonville High School, and so then of course he went on and played at Kentucky with Jimmy Dan Connor and a bunch of guys, and then he took and played with the Indiana Pacers. So and now his son was played at U of L, Michael Flynn, and of course B.J. Flynn took and played at U of L, and now Michael is coaching his daughter, Sophia Flynn, who probably will be Miss Basketball in the state of Kentucky. And then, of course, he's got a young son, too. But yeah, I always took and, I saw those older guys and Jerry Hale and Schellenberger and those guys and stuff. And so I just, and then, of course, the Harlem Globetrotters, you tried to do all the tricks and things of that sort and stuff. And I remember the first time I dribbled a basketball behind my back was after watching Pete Maravich from LSU with the floppy hair and the floppy socks, and it's like, oh my God, let's try this, you know. And of course, you know, everybody wanted to take and shoot like Rick Mount, because he was a pure shooter. So it's a plethora of people that, you know, that influence you and stuff. And then again, this is really rare that I take and share those things, because the people that participate in the Battle of Bridges, they're the ones that are the most important. And I tell people that all the time. I just shake hands and kiss babies.
Yeah, it's not the person that puts things on or gets things together. It's you have to have the people to do anything. And you know, you started organizing playground tournaments as a young man. Where did that entrepreneur like spirit come from?
It was just normal. It was natural. To me, it wasn't anything learned or anything. It was just a natural thing to do. You know, that's just like in an emergency, you're going to take and have, you know, some people that'll take and retreat, and of course, you know, and then you got people that'll take and step up and say, hold on, hey, whoa, you know, it's just being a leader. Never been afraid to talk to anybody. I've been up in thousands of people before. You know, I do a speech and I do a story and speech class, and it was so good that the teacher would take and have me give it to the other classes. That was just it was just it was just a natural. Mr. Hoops will talk your head off. But when you have a passion for something, Cody, like you do, when you have a passion for something, then it's really easy. Now, as far as having a passion about something else, you know, well then it'd be a job, it'd be work.
Exactly. Did you ever imagine, you know, it would eventually become your life's work?
uh yes, as strange as it sounds, because you know, in the fact that you have that passion, and I wanted to take and do it. Um, I just wanted to do it. It was just something that would just, you know, I mean, when you're growing up, and of course, you know, we live the life of Hoosiers. Although my youngest son didn't win a state championship, but played at Charlestown High School, won two sectionals up there, got the team up there on the hall the hall on the wall, and but that's hard to do in Indiana. And then of course Tuck and played a little college ball up in Chicago, and played AU ball against all the greats. You know, goodness gracious, you know, they say LeBron had the best AU team all time. I find that hard to believe. Brody Boyd, Jason Gardner, Mr. Basketball, went to Arizona.
Remember him?
Tucker had Zach Randolph come in second to in Mr. Basketball of Indiana, and John Stewart, who God rest his soul, 7 footer that was going to go to the University of Kentucky and passed away in a regional game. So uh, you know, just being able to take and play. Uh, you know, I remember one thing, and of course I talk your head off. You can direct me which way to go, but I remember, you know, Brody Boyd. He'd be pulling up for 45 because he had Zach Randolph and and John Stewart to rebounding, and I remember Mike Frazier. We called him Money from Charleston, Indiana, which he left us too soon. God rest his soul. And he come over there and told me, he said, and one of his coaches, I can't guard that, coach, Mister Hoops. I can't guard that. You know, so I know that I know I'm diving off. So if I go in different directions here, you know, getting me back on the straight and narrow.
Well, how did the nickname Mr. Hoops actually happen?
Well,
Talk
there
about the newspaper article that changed
Yes,
everything.
there was a. We did a 3-on-3 basketball. Never had been done in Southern Indiana. Charlestown High School do a fundraisers. That's what we do. We do 3-on-3 basketball all over the country. And so, anyway, we did one there for Charleston High School. One of the greatest sports journalists of all time comes from Sellersburg, Indiana. Worked for the Evening News. He's retired now, Greg Burton. And Greg took and did an article, and he called me Mr. Hoops. And I asked him, I said, Greg, can I have that? And he said, yeah, sure, it's yours. And then, of course, then a cartoon character was formed, bigger than life. There's kids probably think I'm 7'2" and greatest basketball player of all time, but that's far from the truth. And so that's when Mr. Hoops. Now there's two Mr. Hoops now. You've got the old Mr. Hoops, gray hair, 75 years old, and then you got the young Mr. Hoops, which is my youngest son, Brandon Darby. My oldest boy, JJ, he was tennis and could hit a golf ball a mile. But then Brandon was the basketball player and football, and he's the young Mr. Hoops. He runs the show over there during the event. I'm at command central with 4 or 5 screens and 3 cell phones, and I'm taking 100 calls a day and emails and texts and social media and so there's two Mr. Hoops. So the game is in hands. It'll go on forever and ever. And I was like I said, they always tell people there's two Mr. Hoops. So
Did you ever
I'm the
think?
old one.
Did you ever think that nickname would become your identity for decades, though?
Probably whenever Greg Burton wrote that article, and when I read it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, Greg, can I have that?" And he agreed, and I knew right then. I knew, okay, I knew right then and there. I said, "Well, okay, this is who I need to become." And then, of course, with God's help. And like I said, we wouldn't be here without our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I love the Lord. And so we knew right then that we were going to take a journey. We were going to take a journey. And of course, we can get into some breaking news after your interview.
Yeah, I want to talk about Team Hoops basketball. How did Team Hoops get started?
Well, we used to take and play 3-on-3 basketball. I tell people all the time that Michael Jordan took and played 3-on-3 with the triangle offense. They won 6 championships with that. That's what you're doing, and when you're out there playing 3-on-3 basketball, you're running the triangle offense. You run the triangle offense, high school, college, pros, you're going to win. And so I loved it, and so I would take and go to somewhere in Texas or something like that, and we'd travel, and I'd say, well, goodness gracious, I can do a better job of this. So we got some proprietary equipment, and we decided then and there that we were going to take and start doing 3-on-3s. And you can't shake a stick at somebody in Southern Indiana or in Louisville that is not took and played in one of our 4-on-4 flag football tournaments, or that hasn't took and played 3-on-3. Because it's a large number of people. When you've been doing something for so many years, and there's nothing like it. I mean, like I said, it helps with your regular game. They got the Olympics now, 3-on-3. They got the Big Three league that goes on, and it's like the high schools are starting flag football now. So that's the way we got started. Is the fact that we wanted to take and do that, and so we can take and have our house is full of goals and sport courts, and we can take and set up goals and courts all the way from Charleston, Indiana, all the way to Louisville.
What separates your events from everyone else's?
Well, it's a passion. I believe it's our mission statement when you get on teammoves.com. It's our mission statement, and it's our passion. And I think that takes and separates it. And the fact that, and it's good old common sense. It's just good old common sense. And so that's what I think. And of course and then of course, they want to be around like-minded people that love the game of basketball and have a passion. And so I think that's what separates up. And there's not very many countries or companies in the United States of America that does 3-on-3 basketball. There's only very, very, very few of us. Okay. And Hoop It Up has went out of business, but probably us and Gus Mackard, and that is probably it.
Why do you believe 3-on-3 basketball is so important?
Well, it's because of the offense you're running. It teaches you to take and set screens. It teaches you to roll to the basket. It teaches you, while that's going on with two guys and the other guy takes and steps out and creates a lane. So it just, to me, now, look, I mean, there's other theories and stuff, but like I said, it speaks for itself. When you're out there playing, it teaches you what you need to do to make a play happen. And so, you're setting multiple screens and you're rolling to the basket and somebody's fading out so you can do the long shot. I'll never forget, I was doing a tournament in Little Rock, Arkansas. Again, I'm off script here. But, all they want to do in Little Rock, Arkansas is go in for a layup and dunk. And I said, "Oh boy, I could take you teams to Indiana, and I mean, buddy, you got to you got to shoot the three." I said, "That's what we do." And but Indiana does more than that, and Louisville does too.
What's some of your favorite
We
What's some of your favorite
go
tournament
ahead.
memories, Matt? What's some of your favorite tournament memories?
Well, probably that in Little Rock, Arkansas. That was doing that for the D League, the Rim Rockers, which have gone out of business now. But and telling them that we've took and the tournaments we had in Charlestown, in Pekin, Jeffersonville. Just there's so many that you really can't like single one out. But just in the fact that up in Indianapolis at the RCA Dome, I've been up there. We've been all over, and so that's up in New York, and it's still the same. They may talk different. They may have accents. They may take and like different foods. But hey, basketball is basketball, and it's still the same.
What's the
No matter
craziest
wherever you go.
What's the craziest story you've seen in an event?
Oh my goodness. Probably we were down in the Louisiana one time. We were doing a $10,000 giveaway
Oh
where you
boy.
shoot a layup, you shoot a free throw, you take and shoot a 3 point, then you shoot one from half court, and this guy made it, and it was crazy. It was literally crazy. So, but there's to single out, and they're all special to me, and all the friendships and that we've took and made, and that we cherish and stuff. Goodness gracious, I could just go on and on and on.
One event that's become so like huge is the Battle of the Bridges All Star Game, which just happened. Tell everyone how that event got started.
Well, the thing about it is, you don't want the people to be like deer in the headlights if they become all stars in Kentucky or Indiana. And that's what happens sometimes. I notice that. So, we modeled it after the Kentucky and Indiana All Star game. except and of course, one time they talked about even doing away with it. But so now we took that a little step farther, excuse me, and we do third grade to B, both boys and girls, up to 12th grade to B, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and then the 10th is called Future Stars. The 11th is called Shooting Stars, and then the 12th are called Stars. So we take that format that they did, and we took it into another level and started with third grade to be. Next year we hope to take and have the first graders to be and second graders to be. And so we just took it up to another level. And then, like I said, when somebody gets there, they don't look like deer in the headlights, and we've had so many Kentucky All Stars that have played, and so many Indiana All Stars that have played, and of course, they're used to the limelight. I tell everybody, look, if you can play Battle of Bridges, you get up to high school level, you play Battle of Bridges, you can play
How
college
do you
ball.
go
I
about
don't care where
select?
it's at. You can play college ball.
How do you go about selecting the players for those games? Do you scout? Do you
Well,
scout all year, or do you use coach
yes, yes,
evaluations? Or
yes. No, we do that. We do coaches evaluate. We do all of the above. Just like in the regular Kentucky and Indiana All Star game, they don't invite the whole state of Indiana to try out. If you did, you'd have 5,000 graduated seniors. So
yeah,
what you're doing is you're making evaluations. I mean, I can't afford to take and go down there and rent the Yum Center and do a third grade to be girls in Indiana.
yeah,
You depend on coaches that take and get good players and make recommendations, and then the coaches itself. So you do that, and then of course, like I said, with that, and something that I'm very proud of is that former players. Amanda Carmichael played in this. Coach at Clarksville High School. Now she's coaching her daughter. Brian Northern, who's took and went to U of L, played Jeffersonville High School, and his son Brandon Northern was at Silver Creek, won some state championships. He was our coach this year of the Indiana Star Boys. Ryan Wheeler, coach over in New Albany, played in the event. Now he's coaching his son. Brooke Valentine, Robbie Valentine's daughter, played in the event, and now her son is playing. And so there's just so many people that that have did that, and there's lots more. I mean, I could go on and on and on with a big list and stuff that they played in the event, they've coached in the event. Sharon Wilkerson, a high school coach, boys basketball, Jeffersonville, Indiana, coached in the Battle of the Bridges. I mean, you can't shake a stick and not find an athletic director, a principal, or a basketball coach, girls and boys, that hadn't took and had an association with the Battle of the Bridges. So that's why that it has that lure to it, is the fact that because that they know they've been there. And again, I'm rambling. Everybody forgive me, but that's what Mr. Hoops does.
have you seen former participants go on to play college and professional basketball?
Oh goodness, goodness, goodness. I mean, Braden Hobbs from New Albany won national championship at D2. Justin Benedetti, Braden Hobbs. Of course, the Braden took and just finished up playing overseas. Played over there for years. David Johnson, that was MVP one year, took and played at U of L, and of course he went to the pros. The young man, you're going to have to repeat his name, at the 7 footer Kentucky a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Malachi Marino.
Malachi Marino played in the game. Trey Singleton. Tuck, and was not a center, but he had to guard him. Played at Northwestern. So just a tremendous amount of people. Anthony Winchester from Austin High School played at Western Kentucky. Won their uh, the league that they were in. I think he was the Player of the Year in a freshman, sophomore, and junior. Might have been all 4 years. I can't remember now. But yeah, I could go on and on and on. Brandon Bender from U of L, Carlos Hurt. Remember that name? Carlos Hurt that played at U of L. We could go on. Dennis Cote that played at Jeffersonville. He's the only player to ever break one of my backboards. By the way, he
Oh,
was. I did a tournament up there for the Pacers, or well, it was the exhibition, and Ron Artest tried to break one. He couldn't do it. Okay, they're just so well made. But Dennis Cote, Dennis Dennis Cote took and broke one, cracked it,
well, your
and so
slogan.
that's how.
I want to talk
Go
about
ahead.
your slogan. It's Showtime, baby. Where did that come from?
Well, we were at a 3-on-3, and so my team, the youngest son and a couple other guys from Charleston High School, Stevie Lord, Mike Frazier, Money. They were down, and just out of the blue, I just said it's showtime, baby, and they went nuts. I said that, and they went nuts. They scored, I think, the next 5, 6 baskets, won, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" I mean, that's like the Marine Corps logo, anthem logo. What did I say? And so that and so that's just the way it is. And every post that I make and everything that I say, every conversation I end, always and then of course we take it farther in the fact that on the voice recording at 502-819 hoop HOOP, that's 502-819-4667, battleofthebridges.org, teamhoops.com. I always take and say, well, remember what Mr. Hoops always says: we'll see you on the fields and we'll see you on the courts. It's showtime, baby.
You've seen basketball evolve over several decades. What's changed the most? AAU basketball, social media, the parents, recruiting. Would today's players survive back in your era, or what?
Oh,
What
yes.
do today's kids do
Oh,
better?
yes. Oh, yes. The athleticism, the training, they have access to gyms. They have access to better food. They have access to vitamins and minerals. There's so many much advantages, but the players that were back in the day, they could take and play with this caliber of players too, because they were so good. Goodness gracious, Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain and a lot of those guys. Bob Cousy, goodness gracious, the magician with the basketball. Any of those guys back in those days could take and play with any of the players here. They just could. I mean, it's yeah, but it's the fact that they didn't have the proper equipment, the training, the vitamins, the minerals, and they know so much more now about scientifically eating and nutrition. I mean, LeBron has got his own chef. Most of these professional players, they have their own chefs, so they watch their intake and output. So you didn't necessarily excuse me, you didn't necessarily do that back in the day. But high school players back in my day, they could take and play with anybody. The Damon Baileys could take and play with anybody. And one thing that we talked about before, I tell people in the fact that there's a little known fact that 9 out of the 10 largest high schools in the United States of America 18 out of the top 20 high schools, largest high schools in the United States of America, is in one state, and that is the
Texas.
state of Indiana. That no, it ain't Texas, baby. It's Indiana. It's Indiana. Goodness gracious. If you want to take and see a high school game, go over and watch Jeffersonville and New Albany. It is packed like sardines. It is packed. You can take and go up on a Friday night, Saturday night, Henryville, Indiana. Henryville, what? Yes, packed. Rock Creek High School, you could take, and of course, Charlestown High School, which I think is one of the prettiest gyms in the whole state of Indiana. Brand new high school, or to me, it's new. And so, that gym up there, a big big jumbotron, and one of the beautifulest high schools in southern Indiana. Jeffersonville just redid their floor; it looks fantastic. But yes, they're just packed. They're just packed. I mean, it's a passion. It's a passion, but
Was the
it's a
game
passion too with Kentucky. Go ahead.
were players more fundamental, decades ago than now? Like, do players, like, I guess, depend more on their athleticism now?
Well, I think so. But now the players that are exceptional, they do have great fundamentals. Okay, but the athleticism gets you by when you're playing now. But the fundamentals, uh, uh, you know, that was what was taught back in the day. It just fundamentals. Okay. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, they don't ever call cupping the ball anymore.
No.
It's what they do. I mean, if you take and see Bob Cousy out there, okay, if you watch him taking playing point guard for the Celtics, you'll take it. Isaiah Thomas, if you see him playing when he was in high school and playing for Indiana, I mean, but that doesn't take away from the modern game, in my opinion. I don't really, I'm not the authority on that. It's just a personal opinion. But but you take the guys. That just fundamentals. Richie Farmer over in Kentucky, and Mike Flynn and Jerry Hale, and those guys, David Scott, and those guys. The fundamentals were so sound. I mean, just so sound, uh, uh, and I could go on and on and on, and
Yeah,
name after name after name.
I didn't have this question, ready, but it popped in my head. Kentucky and Indiana, we're basketball crazy, but we don't have a professional team. Uh, how do you think it would be if Louisville had a professional team? Should we have a professional team? I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Well, I think the market is there. Now, of course, people know more than I do. But I think the market is there because with the number of people that and the passion, if people could take and just go right across the river at the Yum Center and take and watch a professional game, they would do that in Charlestown and Jeff and New Albany and Clarksville
Have
and
you been in the Yum
Sellersburg.
Center?
Uh,
Like, have you been in the
oh
locker
yeah.
rooms
Oh,
and
it's
the
beautiful.
media center? Uh,
Oh yeah,
I
it's
did I was
beautiful.
a
I mean,
sports journalist. Yeah, when it first opened, and man, the locker rooms, the media rooms. I had I
it's
was, I guess,
unbelievable.
blessed enough to
Oh
be in there,
yeah.
man. But it's elite, man. I've been in
Oh,
Rupp Arena in the back,
it's elite.
but yeah, the Yum Center, like, state of the art compared to Rupp Arena. Like, it makes Rupp Arena look like it's 50 years old. I know Rupp's done some renovations and things, but the Yum Center is it's ready for an NBA team, man, or it was back in what, 2016, 2017.
Yes,
But
yes.
but yeah, man, it's incredible on the inside, not just the arena, but like behind the scenes for media, the players. Yeah, man, it's ready to go. If they had I guess if they could get the NBA, if that market was there, I know it was when Coach Cal was coaching at Kentucky. He brought that up about a professional team in Kentucky and would it survive? And I almost think like remember when the New Orleans with the hurricane. Remember
Yes,
when they went to
yes,
like Oklahoma City? I think wasn't Louisville like one of the locations that they were thinking
yes,
about moving that
yes, yes,
franchise
yes.
to.
Yep, yep, yep. And like I said, it's of course there's more to it than that, in the fact that they have to take and start an expansion team and but now I believe Dan Issel may be a part of a group that's trying to bring and if it's not Dan, forgive me, okay? You're one of my idols and I love you, all right? But I believe he is. He's got a number of people that are trying to take and do things behind the scenes and of course, that's going to take a lot of effort and stuff. But I think the market is there because listen. I remember, and this wasn't on the schedule, but I remember taking in my mom, dropping me off down there at Louisville Gardens before I could even drive, and I was down there watching the Kentucky Colonels, and they were playing the Virginia Squires, and there was a guy on there with a big afro, and his name was Julius Irving. They
Oh, you
called
got to
him
see
Dr.
Dr.
J.
J play.
And I took and he went up one time. He went up one time to dunk, and it's like he spun around in the air and went behind. I was like, it was speechless. I was speechless. I was like, wait a minute. How can a human jump that high and have that athletic ability? I took and had to go to the bathroom when halftime and everything, and it was so quiet in the bathroom. Grown men in there are like whispering, go, did we see what we saw? Did you see that? Yes, they were shocked. So yes, got to see him play in person but hey, listen, Artist Gilmore, buddy. Oh my God, he could touch the top of a backboard. But yeah, I got to see all them, and of course, everybody loved Louis Dampier and Daryl Carrier, and they everybody took and Pratt, and everybody loved those guys, and of course, everybody grew up, or at least my day, listening to. Basketball, Kaywood Leopard for UK and Jock Sutherland as far as U of L, excuse me, and Van Vance. And so you would listen to those games, and then we had to play those games in our mind as we're listening to the radio. So that develops. You say, where did that entrepreneurship develop? And probably in the fact that one of the things is listening to radio and having to take and play all that in your mind. And it was just, it was wonderful. Now, of course, us old timers, we take and turn the volume down on TV and listen to it on radio. So, but anyway, go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, that's wild. You got to see Dr. J play and Kaywood Leopard, man. Like I know you were listening to it on the radio, but he was so talented. He could paint the picture with just saying the words that
Perfect.
he like perfectly. Like you could
Perfect.
he could like people with like not that big of an imagination. Like he could still put the picture of the game, what was going on in their mind. Like he was so talented at calling games, color commentator, whatever they call it. Man, yeah, I got to listen to some of that old stuff, and when he passed away, like people were like, a lot of people were still listening to the game on the radio with the TV on
Oh,
mute,
yeah.
just to listen to him call the game. That's
Well,
how good he was.
I remember one time, UK was taken, and of course, Rex Chapman was playing. Of course, they wanted to change the name of Lexington to Rexington, and Rex Chapman was playing. That was true. People are trying to get that started, and so anyway, so they're playing U of L, and of course, Chapman is, oh my gosh, he's pulling up from 35 step range. Okay, Steph Curry's range. And so anyway, one of the greatest lines of all time any sportscaster ever said. He's got like, oh my goodness, that one's from 30 feet. That one, he 35 feet. Oh my gosh, he pulled that one from 40 feet. He one time he took and said, and that this, maybe nobody will think it's important, but one time K Wood Leopard took and said, "Oh my God, he shot that one from the Waterson Expressway." And he said that, and I went, "Oh my God, no wonder he's in the Hall of Fame." Who would think to say that? A Rex took and pulled one up, and he took and had the not he had the witwall to take and say, "Oh my God, he shot that one from the Waterson Expressway."
Yeah, he was
And
just
and
a creative
I'm
genius,
so
man.
fortunate that I got to hear that live. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Caleb was a creative genius. Like he could just paint that picture with his words. I want to do a little rapid fire with you. You've seen a lot of NBA players through your time. Who's your favorite NBA player ever?
I'm a Larry Bird fan, but I'm also a Magic Johnson fan. If nobody knows the story about how the Converse commercial was shot, of course, I know the Larry Bird and the Michael Jordan McDonald's commercial is probably number one, but the story behind Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, of course, everybody had to go out and get the Converse, and I got the green, and but how that story actually happened, and they become real good friends, even though they wanted to take and beat each other. They just become so close, and so that is but I'm a Bird fan, but at the same time, goodness gracious, the strongest guy, and I'm not an expert, okay, I'm just a fan. The strongest guy ever of all time in the NBA, Will Chamberlain. My goodness gracious, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Okay, the strength that he took and had. Uh, uh, you know, uh, Schwarzenegger was working out with him one time, and I mean, and Chamberlain was benching 500 pounds. I
Whoa.
mean, nothing. He thought nothing of it. He was just an exceptional athlete and highly intelligent. I mean, highly intelligent and stuff. So I mean, but I liked all those guys, I liked all of them. Like I said, Bill Russell, I think he won 11 NBA championships, won 9 in a row. But of course, I'm a Michael Jordan fan. I mean, he to me is the best, and
Oh, so
there's
you are
no,
you a Jordan or a LeBron fan? Who's
no,
better?
no, no, no,
You going with
no.
Jordan?
Oh yeah, I'm Jordan all the way. I just no, and I tell people, the thing about it is now don't try to shoot like Larry Bird or Reggie Miller, okay? Even though they were great shooters and stuff, they had an odd way of shooting. But Michael Jordan, whatever he did, how high he jumped, fade away, torquing his body left, right, but he always ended up whenever he duck and release that shot he always ended up in the proper position, okay, in the proper shooting position, okay. That tried and true mechanical memory that and just from flicking the wrist and following through everything. He wasn't all out of balance whenever he did his shot, and
Yeah, I
so that's something of beauty. Yeah.
remember the was it game 7 or game 6 when he pulled up at the free throw line and it seemed like he hung in the air forever and he hit that shot at the
Oh
I
yeah,
can't was
yeah.
it Byron Russell that was guarding him maybe
I
with the
believe so. I
Jazz?
believe so. Yeah, yeah.
Man, that was like one
I
of the most
believe so.
incredible
Yeah.
shots, and it was like a 16-foot jump shot. But man, he dribbled and then he pulled up, and it just seemed like he was in the air for 3 seconds, and the defender goes right by, and then he just literally flicks his wrist, and it goes in, and everybody went crazy. That had to take so many reps to get that kind of muscle memory down. That with his jump shot, and you're talking about the players, man. Who is your favorite coach ever?
Oh gosh. said is a real good one. Probably the Big Cigar, Red Arback. Probably, although Pat Riley, I like Pat. In prose, that is. I like Pat Riley. And Of course, I'm a big Jerry West fan. Jerry West, that is his silhouette on the logo
Yeah.
for the NBA. Okay. I mean, out of West Virginia, goodness gracious, with the played for the Lakers.
Who's the
But
best player you've ever seen?
the best player that I've ever seen has probably been Dr. J. That's probably been me. That's
Nice. Yeah.
actually in person. Now whenever you take and that's like taking and going to an Indy race up there in Indianapolis and you watch it on TV and it doesn't look like they're going that fast, but if you really are there, I mean it's like a blur. Zoom. I mean it's like a blur. And but to actually see someone in person do the things that he did was probably just phenomenal. I mean, but hey, look, was he the best shooter? No, probably not. But I mean, but as far as athletic ability, I mean, that's probably big Dr. J fan and everything. Larry Bird was so good because, well, he had the ability, but his work ethic was phenomenal. Nobody could ever outwork him. I mean, nobody could ever outwork him.
What
So,
about one player
uh,
everyone should have known? Who's a guy that was so good, but like he wasn't well known?
well, I'm going to take and say an old Charlestown Pirate, Mike Butoff, took and averaged over 20 points a game. Took and went and in South Carolina, played college ball, and I'm a big Mike Butoff fan. Went to school with him, and of course Kemp. He went to North Carolina State, but yeah, Mike Butoff. If people ever took and some of the old people out there, they'll remember that name from Charlestown. They will remember that name. He was fantastic. And then, of course, he's not with us anymore. God rest his soul. Mike Frazier, we called him Money because he's hit some last second shots after taking and getting a wicked set a screen from the young Mister Hoops. That's the best combo there ever was. He could set a wicked screen and Frazier would get open. We'd go play AU ball and people would say, "Where are these guys from? Charlestown? Where in the world is Charlestown at? Jesus, you out of your mind." And so yeah, we beat a lot of teams, surprised a lot of teams in AAU, and of course I got tremendous stories about that, and of course I'm a big John Stewart fan. John Tuck and 7 footer going to Kentucky. Tuck and passed away, died suddenly in a regional game, and that I love John. We played them a lot in AAU ball, and and of course I'm hollering at the young Mister Hoops, like Carl Weathers is hollering at Rocky. There is no tomorrow. And of course the young Mister Hoops is like, hey, and of course Zach Randolph's in there too. And I'm going, now it's time to do it. He said, look, man, I'm just trying not to make him mad. And of course John comes over there and says something to me. He says, Mr. Hoops, he said, you're going to have a heart attack. Tell him that he can score on me. Of course, they were up 30. But anyway, he told Brandon that. He said, Brandon, he said, young Mr. Hoops, he said, you can score on me if you want to. Your dad's going to have a heart attack over there. Uh, so so it it yeah it but love them guys to death, and so yeah, there's so many memories, and of course, in Indiana, southern Indiana, in Indiana, all of Indiana and Kentucky, you live the movie Hoosiers. Just becomes a community event. I mean, on Friday and Saturday nights, Tuesday nights, you go to a Charlestown high school game, Charlestown Pirates, by the way. And yes, I still remember the song, Alma Mater. I mean, that's where you went. I mean, it was a community gathering. Like I said, you go to any small town in Indiana, and the largest uh, meeting place is the high school gym,
Absolutely.
because, as I said, they're so large.
I want to ask you, for some advice. If you could give one piece of advice to, every young basketball player out there, everyone's trying to, reach their goals, their dreams of getting to, to college to play professionally. Like what's one piece of advice that you would give them?
To love the game, have a passion for the game. Okay. Yes, you're going to treat it like a job when you get at the elite level. When you get in your, senior in high school, and when you get in college, you're treating it like a game. Okay. They're even doing NIL in the state of Indiana to high school kids. How crazy is that? But it's the fact that have a passion, have a love of the game. If you don't love the game, if you don't have a passion, then you're not going to excel. If you're doing it just because you're athletically talented, yeah, that's fine and dandy, and you'll be good and everything like it. But if you want to be exceptional, and that is to take and have a love for the game and never want to lose, you can go to all the great players that I've seen, and I'm not an authority, but everybody that I've seen, okay, their passion for the game is what separates them from the good players, and their attitude. I mean, I'm old school. Yes, coach. No, coach. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm just a sticker on that. In the fact that, and I know basketball doesn't solve all the world's problems. Okay, I know that. I mean, I'm not naive, but boy, it sure does help. Okay, you can keep the kids off the street. You can keep them out of the gangs. You can keep them from shooting and killing people, and you can give them a passion that they. And then when you're a better basketball player, you become a better student, because that becomes a challenging thing to do, is the fact that you're going to study hard and you're going to learn. Okay, because I mean, you can't take and learn X's and O's if you don't take and do good in school. So if you have that passion and do good in school, like I said, it's not, it doesn't solve all the world's problems, but by God, it sure does take and make a difference
I know
if you have that passion.
my buddy Wes over at Delta 502, like he's doing some amazing
Oh,
things in Louisville.
tremendous, tremendous. Yes. Oh my
Had him
gosh,
on last week, I
I
think it was
endorse
last week.
him tremendously. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing some incredible things over there with basketball, and he's they're doing
Yes.
school, and they've got more
Yes.
nonprofits over there. But you're 75. What keeps you motivated at 75?
The passion. I don't ever have to worry about dementia. I feel like $1 million. God has blessed me with tremendous health, that is. Just the passion of the game, and the fact that, your heart is warmed whenever you take and see the kids, how proud they are to take and go to the game and get the Battle of the British shirt, and take and get the parents and the grandparents to brag about them. And listen, you could take and put 50 kids on these teams and you still wouldn't take and reach it all, okay? Because, in the state of Kentucky and in the state of Indiana, you could take and you could have 100 kids on one team. But the passion is what, and then the stories, I mean, the stories that the kids give you, the parents that take and they started out in third grade to be and they're now finishing up in 12th grade to be, and there's a Mr. Hoops. We've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you for what you don't thank me. Okay, don't thank me. There's a lot more people, athletic directors and coaches and parents, that you can thank. And you have to thank the parents. They have that passion also. So that's what keeps me young, is the fact that because everybody else is young, and people say, "Well, boy, you don't talk like you're 75 years old, man." Well, I mean that's just because I'm talking to a lot of young people. And like I said, knock on wood there, you don't have to worry about dementia because my mind is running 1,000 miles a minute and I love it. I love her. If you don't love something, you wouldn't be able to do it. And I think if people meet myself, which I don't like talking about myself, but I'll do it for the game. I'll do it for the game and I'll do it for the kids. And that is the fact that you have a passion. You have a passion. So, like I said, to have these players play in the game and now their sons and daughters, and I just listed just four, five, six of them, whatever. I mean, I could take and give you 50, more than that, 100. And that is what is wonderful to me. And it's a good Lord willing. Of course, you got the young Mr. Hoops to take over, but good Lord willing, I want to take and see those players that played in this, their grandchildren play. That's what I want to take and see. And then, of course, you can tell me when the podcast is going to end. And by the way, I did this for you because I really endorse your podcast. I think you're doing an excellent job. I really encourage people to
Appreciate
take and
that.
kind of go to Substack. I really it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and we're going to do some great things next year. We're not going to take and Cody and I are going to take and work together next year, and we'll be announcing that here soon. But before we end, when you get ready to cut off, I'll give everybody the breaking news again.
Let's hit that breaking news and then we can close out, Gary.
Okay. Well, the breaking news is, like I said, we have to take and there's logistics to complete. There's police to work with on crowd control and parking. There's safety aspects, getting first aid set up. You've got to have security at anything that you do. You've got to have the plenty of police there, not to get somebody arrested or in trouble, just to take and be there so that there isn't, because when you have that presence, okay, when that presence is there, then you don't have any problems. And of course everybody knows, I've walked in the middle of courts before, and they'll say, my gosh, those are giants, man, how are you not scared to do that? Because they respect me. And I'm like, hey guys, now we come here to play ball, we're not going to fight. No fighting. Now you know how I feel about that. And of course, I'm old school. Of course, they still cuss underneath their breath, but I tell them, I go, you got kids out here watching? No, hey, I don't want to hear that. And so, because these little kids will watch them and they'll want their autographs and things. Of course, that's on the pro court, okay? That's on the pro court. But no, breaking news in August, not during the Battle of the Bridges time, of course, after Battle of the Bridges, but in August 2027, huge, largest there ever was of all time, 3-on-3 basketball, and we're not ready to tell you the location yet. Will they keep you hanging on that? But the largest, biggest, most complete 3-on-3 basketball event that Louisville, Kentucky, and Indiana has ever seen is going to take and be real close. It's going to be real close. Okay. So, everybody, and I know I'm going to see everybody there. It's going to be tremendous. And it's going to be life experience that you'll just love. You'll be looking forward to it the following year. It'll be my crowning achievement. Okay, my crowning achievement, because where that's what we are. That's Mr. Hoops got that doing 3-on-3 basketball, and I know the people out there listening, like, yeah, I played Mr. Hoops for 3-on-3, and so yes, we're gonna take, and it's a crowning achievement that'll go on forever and ever and ever. And of course, we'll keep you informed, Cody. Let everybody know about that. Once we've crossed our T's and dotted our I's, and make sure that everything is in place. Okay, but it is going to happen. You say, my Mr. Hoops, that's far out. Listen, if you're going to plan events like this, it has to be more. This has been in stages for 2 years. For 2 years, okay, that I've been dreaming about this and thinking about this. Somebody will call me up in March and say, "Hey, Mr. Hoops, I want to do a tournament in July," and go, "We're up here in Rhode Island," and it's like, "Are you out of your mind?" It takes at least a year of planning. We're not going to take and just goodness gracious, we'll all pay you so much. That don't mean nothing. I've been blessed all my life. Been blessed. Okay, so go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, that's exciting. We're going to go ahead and close out. Gary, you've spent decades helping kids, chase their dreams. You've created opportunities for so many, and giving back to the community or your community. You just thank you for everything you've done for the game. It's amazing to see how passionate that you are about not only basketball but the youth and the community. Um, where can everyone follow Team Hoops and Battle of the Bridges?
Well, you can take and go to, and by the way, now, this is a rarity. I don't like to talk about myself because I'm nobody. I'm just somebody that happens to put it all together. I just shake hands and kiss babies. There are all these other people behind the scenes that take and do the work. I just happen to take and be the cheerleader. Okay, and but you can go to teamhoops.com and you can scroll down to the bottom of the page, and there will be a promo video there of the young Mr. Hoops, and he will take and tell you what we do and show you some videos. So go to teamhoops.com, scroll down the page, and there will be the young Mr. Hoops that'll take and be doing a short promo video. And then, of course, don't forget battleofthebridges.org. And you can go there and you can take and see some promo videos, and it'll take and have game schedules, all-star game schedules. It'll have the all-star game scores. Oh, by the way, it was an all from third grade to B up to 12th grade to B, boys and girls. Guess what? This year it was 10 and 10. Kentucky won 10 games, Indiana won 10. Now that's about as good as you can do it, because I have to be neutral, buddy. I work for Kentucky and I work for Indiana. I work for them both. Okay, so I mean, I'm a Charlestown boy. Yes, I'm an Indiana boy, but no, I have to be neutral. And but you can go to battlebridges.org, and it'll have all the information that you need. And then, of course, get ready for next year. I remember. we were talking on the phone. I'll share this with everybody. Cody took and said, "Well, what do you do the rest of the year?" And I kind of laughed and I said, "Don't they start playing in Thunder over Louisville the very next day? That's all I do. 365, 24/7. Plans are already in place for next year because you want to take and do bigger and better. And so, yes, you plan. And then, of course, if somebody's going to do a 3-on-3 basketball in Florida, goodness gracious, you're planning all that. But the blocked out date for anybody in the country that ever hears this here, Battle of Bridges, that date will never take and be taken away. Blocked out date you could have matter to me. That is a blocked out date for Battle of the Bridges and stuff. And also our local 3-on-3 basketball tournament that we're going to do next year in 2027. And when that happens, I encourage everybody to come out because you will take and see old. They won't be old, but you'll see the old players that used to take and play on TV, and they'll be playing on the pro court. All the big names will be playing on the pro court. We call that the Top Gun court. Okay, uh, uh, and uh, and so all of your great high school players and elementary school players and grade school, all of them, and just your regular average Joes that want to take and play, over 30, over 40, over 50, over 60. Those are separated. And then, of course, the young kids, 10 and under, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And so it's all ages. Slam dunk contest. We'll have a slam dunk contest on a 9-foot goal for kids. Slam dunk contest for 10-foot goal. We'll take and have free throw contest and then a 3-point shooting contest. Okay. So there are all kinds of to get involved as far as the 3-on-3. Fantastic music. We've got 50,000 watts. That's what I take with me. Sound system, and we got a backup. We got a backup to the backup for the sound system, but 50,000 watts, and it is energizing music. No cussing, just energizing music. You're going to hear anything Celine because I love Leonard Skinner and AC/DC and the Eagles, and you'll take and hear all that. But then you're also going to take and hear Let's Be Happy. But anyway, that's what makes these outdoor events so much fun is that they're a destination point. They're an event. People take and plan vacations around it. And they can take and come down to Louisville and they can go to Bat Factory. They can go down to Muhammad Ali Museum. Anybody's never been down there, you're missing. They can take go to Kentucky Derby Museum. There is so much to do, and Indiana has so many sites. Okay, the parks and recreation. We're very area.
Gary,
Okay,
you're cutting out on me. I don't know if it's your internet or
it
what, but
happened.
you're
Okay,
cutting out for some reason.
okay. I had you on speaker. I had you on speaker. I don't know anybody that doesn't love. Once they moved to Louisville, once they moved to Southern Indiana. So yeah, I've got you on speaker, and that's probably why that cut out. Apologize, everybody. It's my first podcast. Okay.
It's all good. We'll have you back on, but uh, we're closing out, and doing this podcast tonight with you, getting to hear like over 5 decades, and then hearing about the event and the people that get to play and then their kids get to play, and just hearing your passion just for being able to have these events, and you want to make it bigger and better every year. I think that's amazing. So hats off to you. And for everyone out there, if you enjoyed tonight's episode, make sure you subscribe to us here on Substack. You can watch this episode over on YouTube when it downloads. And for more interviews with coaches, scouts, and recruiters, and even basketball influencers around the country, stick around. We're going to have on Al Davis, assistant coach for Bellarmine. He's going to be on Thursday night. We're going to have on a former D1 coach. He was assistant coach at Michigan. He was player development and recruiting coordinator for Appalachian State women's basketball. He'll be on Friday night. His name is PJ Bellatoni. I think that's how you say his last name. So we're going to have on some D1 coaches the rest of the week. So come around. Make sure you subscribe here to Substack. I'm Cody Thomas, and until next
Now,
time,
Cody, before we leave, I got one last thing to say.
fire
Before we
away.
leave, it's showtime, baby.
It's showtime, baby. Guys, keep working, keep believing, and keep chasing your dreams.